Okay, so we are now recording. We're live on Facebook, so we are set to go. Let me close this down so I can't get distracted over there. Okay, great. Well, welcome. Tonight we are doing kind of a special podcast. We sort of have a generational type podcast about mothers and everything about moms for Mother's Day today. And so we've kind of got some special guests. And I will let them introduce themselves. But before we do that, before we get into everything, I just wanted to say welcome to everybody joining us. If you're with us for the first time, we're happy to have you. Please give us a like on Facebook, subscribe to our page on YouTube, and we would be happy to have your support. Share this with your friends if you get a chance. So having said that, welcome tonight to Pam Wilson and Hannah Miller, two of our special guests for tonight. And we will get to know each of you. Why don't we start off just looking at my screen, going left to right. We'll just start with Pam. Pam, welcome tonight. How are you?
Thank you. I am fine. Thank you. How about you, Everett?
I'm doing fantastic. We're happy to have you on tonight.
Thank you.
Great. So why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself? Where do you live? Who's your daughter?
I live in Tri-Cities, Washington. My daughter is Teri Wilson. And
Can't tell the resemblance.
I know. And I was thinking that. I'm like, yeah, she has to own you.
I know you guys don't look like clones or anything.
no, that's funny.
That's what I'll look like in my, never mind.
If I had a smile as dynamite as Teri's, I'd be a happy camper.
You do,
I think you guys totally like look the same. Like I could, if you guys were in a crowd, I'd be like, okay, they're related. Definitely.
Yeah. Wow.
Smile and everything.
Wow.
Yeah.
Nice.
Definitely.
I'm gonna say thank you.
Yeah, no, that's a good thing. It's a good thing.
Yeah. Okay.
So
that's all about me.
So do you live in Richland then? You live in the Tri-Cities?
I do. Yeah.
Okay. Great. How long you live there?
Oh, gee, since 1970.
1970. Wow.
Yeah.
You were some of the first pioneers there then.
Yeah.
I didn't even know that. So
yeah.
I was actually from the Wenatchee Valley, anybody that's familiar with that. And
kind of up by Leavenworth or?
Yeah, in fact, that's where I was born.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Interesting. Leavenworth is beautiful. If you've never been there, it's almost like kind of this transplanted Bavarian village in the Swiss Alps. That's what it looks like. So around Christmas time, it's magical. It's amazing.
Yeah.
Great little place. Google it if you've never heard of it. So
yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah.
Great. And so you're here with Teri. Teri rounded you up for this.
She did.
That's great. Fantastic. Are you nervous?
Yeah.
Hear her.
Probably both of you are like, okay, a little bit nervous on how this is going to go down.
Right.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
Yeah. She's pretty easygoing like I am. So I'm like, whatever.
Yeah. Well, we hopefully will get into some of Teri's like deep secrets that you will be able to disclose for us later. So we're counting on you to like give us all the goods.
Ah.
Yeah.
We want some
Mom. So about that inheritance.
Teri suddenly regretting this, like
yes,
what did I get myself into?
Yeah.
Awesome. All right. Well, thank you. So Hannah, welcome.
Hi.
How are you?
Pretty good.
Are you nervous?
I was nervous with the lighting, but I'm good now.
The lighting looks good. Looks good.
So,
all right. Well, obviously you are whose daughter?
I'm Celeste Miller's daughter, the blonde-haired person.
You look so much alike, so you should know that by now.
Yes.
Yeah.
We are super happy to have you. The nice thing is we have Teri's mom and Celeste's daughter. So we kind of have like the generational thing. We've got, people trickling in as we're talking here. Let me kind of get these squared away. Just for those people in the audience, when you get a chance, make sure you're on mute and you keep your cameras off. We will hopefully open it up here in a little while to questions and kind of a more open forum. But in the meantime, just keep those things off so we can kind of keep everything organized here. All right. So Hannah, are you nervous?
Not really. I don't know what to do really, but talking is my specialty. So hopefully I should be okay.
That is true. I will vouch for that. She is definitely a talker. So
Well, really, this is just kind of a chance tonight to celebrate moms and, future moms, current moms, all of those sort of things. I recently lost my mom a little over a month and a half ago. So, this is kind of a special time for me to be able to share that with you guys and have that opportunity. I'm not a mom myself. I probably won't ever be, as far as I know, but I do have a mom. She's just not with us anymore. But yeah, this is a great opportunity for us to just kind of talk about moms. Now, Hannah, we are going to ask you too to spill some of the beans on your mom as
no,
we get going in this.
not at all.
Yeah.
Gladly. I
I
have
will
pictures
still
too if
be
you'd like me to show you pictures.
Yes. The more incriminating, the better. We always welcome that sort of stuff. So that is fantastic.
Nope.
I shouldn't encourage this. Celeste and I should be on the same team right now, but yes.
No, we're not
Yeah.
doing that. Nope.
If a video slips in on accident, it happened.
No,
Yeah.
no videos are slipping in. Nope.
Totally welcome.
Give me
all
the
that.
death glare right now through the
Yeah.
camera.
I'm like
A little
gonna
stressful.
that. Well, Hannah, tell us a little about you. Just give us a little background on you.
Well, I'm going to BYU Provo right now, but I'm currently in Arizona on vacation with my roommate who was banging something in the back, and it was very funny. But anyways, yeah, so just finished up the semester for the winter, taking the summer off, just doing college. It's all I'm pretty much doing for the rest of my life.
For the rest of your life, how many
I hope
degrees are you going to get? Geez.
It feels like it. It's only like 3 more years, but it feels like it's forever. So
Yep. Been there, done that. It goes quick though. It goes really quick. So did you finish your first full year or did you just do a semester or where are you at with?
I did 2 semesters. So I think I finished my first full year. I did August to April. So I think I'm done with my freshman year. Not entirely sure, but
So BYU's already out for the summer then.
yeah, BYU got out April 14th for the summer. Exams ended like the 21st. And then spring started like the next week, I think is what it was. So
Okay.
I didn't do it.
Okay.
Taking a break.
And what is your major?
I'm majoring in family relations.
Are you going to be a therapist?
That's the goal. Therapy work, marriage and family counseling, all that fun stuff,
Ah, see, she is my daughter.
Yeah.
No. I always, I am respectful to people who can do that because to me, I think it would just wear on me all day, every day to hear everybody's problems. Like, oh, okay. You just want to go home and like crawl into a corner somewhere, like make it stop. That would be very hard work, I think. But
My goal is to one day learn the technical terms for like why people are the way they are. And then my husband and I get in a fight to just bring it out on him and be like,
Oh yeah. Oh,
really, this is an example of like your
that'll go over really well.
yeah, let me know how that works out for you.
every time I tell people I want to go into counseling, they're like, oh, don't you dare use that on your husband. And I'm like, okay, guys, I'm not a dummy here.
Yeah, you pull the
Not gonna do
technique.
that.
We're like, this is the technique we call sabotaging a marriage. Like,
Uh-huh.
yeah, let me tell you all your problems, honey. Like, oh, I
Don't
love
worry,
you
I'm
so
not
much.
going to do that, guys. That's not going to happen.
Okay, hold on just a second. Oops.
No, I accidentally
go.
yeah, anyway.
Okay, sorry, we got a little crowd control going on here. Great. Well, so what can you tell us? I'm gonna like start with you, Hannah, and then go backwards to Pam again. What can you tell me about your mom like that makes her special on this day?
Well, this is actually, I'm pretty sure the first Mother's Day I haven't been home with her. Because I came from my mission right before Mother's Day, so I was home for her there. So it's kind of been weird today because I've had like this like desire to like dote on her all day and I haven't been able to. And so obviously she's doing something right because I'm here in Arizona soaking up the sun, playing games with my cousin, my friends' little cousins and stuff, and I'm over here missing my mom, wishing I was there to do the dishes for her. So she's doing something right.
Yeah, that's awesome. So what is one of your fondest memories of your mom?
Okay, be careful.
Put you on the spot here a little bit. Yeah.
Careful with this one.
Feel free to
okay.
share all the goods too. If you've got something, it's like, well, there was this time when she was really sick and I had to hold her hair or something like that. Like, just let it out. We'll just consider this our safe space. Every story like that, we welcome it tonight.
Oh,
Okay. One of my favorite things about my mom that's like a very funny memory. She's not gonna like it when I say this, but
Oh my
it's so
gosh.
freaking
Yeah.
funny to me.
keep in mind, a lot of people watch these.
Yes, keep in mind. So we want to hear all the goods.
Oh my gosh.
Well, when I was little, I'm kind of a little bit stubborn and I kind of like to do things my own way. And she obviously is also headstrong and likes to do things her own way. And she knows that, like, she knows my capabilities more than I do sometimes. And so when I was younger, there were several occasions where she would tell me I could do something and I'd be like, no, I definitely just can't do it. And, you know, she'd, in a lovingly way, kind of try to coax me through it and be like, no, you really can. This is your potential. You really can do it. And there was this one time, this is the only bad story, I promise I'll tell mom. But there's this one time that I was, because math is not a strong suit of mine, and she used to homeschool me. And we used to go for hours and hours and hours trying to do math problems because retention and memory is just not my strong suit either. And one time I was finishing a math problem and she was mad at me for yelling at her about the math problem, as any mom would be. And so she like threw the whiteboard at me and was like, stop screaming at me, just do the math problem.
Okay.
Just remember, I was like 10 years old. This whiteboard just like came flying at me and I was like,
She threw the whole whiteboard at you?
Okay. So keep in mind that she was young. So her perception of that whole
and
scenario
in
that
my
makes it
mind, it was like this
a little off.
whiteboard tucking at me, and I was like, I'm sorry, I can't add. I was like,
Oh my gosh. That not quite exactly how that
Wait, so
happened.
I fail to understand how like her being young makes it okay to throw the whiteboard at her.
I didn't throw the whiteboard at her. I tossed it on the table and it slid across the table and then smacked into her. It wasn't meant for her. But yeah, thanks
it
for
was so funny.
but
So to this day, I still like whenever I think of my mom like pushing me to do something, but you know, she knows I can do it. I think I can't do it. I just get that image of the whiteboard flying at me and think of her.
oh my gosh, Hannah.
I look at the like scar on the side of my head from this whiteboard hitting me, and I'm like, oh, I
Seriously.
I don't
can
even
do
think
it.
it hit me. I think it like passed me. I don't even think it touched me. But in my mind, it was some like,
Yeah.
so yeah,
Yeah. Anyway,
it was funny.
That's awesome.
a little skewed, but we'll let her save face. We're good. We'll leave it.
Oh,
at
that's
that.
okay. You'll have your turn too, Celeste. So
That's good.
everyone's gonna have their fair ups tonight, except me. I'm immune because I am just like in my own little bubble, so I get to like mom fun stories.
Well played, Everett. Well played.
Yes. See how that works? See, I gotta love
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
Right.
Hey guys, what do you want to do for Mother's Day? Let's do a special Mother's Day podcast where I can like totally throw everybody under the bus and sit here all by myself.
But I
How
do
many more
believe that-
podcasts are left till the end of the year? That's the question. Because Celeste and I can gang up on you.
Yeah,
and
well,
the truth is I think both myself and Teri kind of know some background about you. So
oh,
we
True.
decide to like gang up, even if it's not a Mother's
Yeah.
Day podcast. We could still
Yep.
yeah,
say,
bring it.
say something, yeah.
We can make things happen.
Ah, I see. All right. Well, I welcome it. That would be fun. Okay, so we'll now ask you the same thing, Pam. Tell us a special memory about Teri. Something that you remember that, yeah, and feel free to throw Teri under the bus too.
Right,
We love
right.
Those kind of stories.
Well,
I have thick skin, Mom. It's okay.
no, the special part is she's the mother of my 2 grandchildren.
Very cool. I take it you're close with them. Great.
Yes.
Awesome. So
So are they.
She needs tissues.
Yeah. Well, do you have a Kleenex box in there? With you?
yeah. So tell us a special memory that you have of Teri growing up.
Well, when I was listening to Celeste being thrown under the bus, thought about the time.
Gave
Teri,
you time to think of a nice juicy one.
yeah, yeah.
Oh, good, good.
So-
I like this.
Plenty.
I'm standing in the kitchen and Teri and her girlfriend were in the dining room and they were telling me that they were going to quit high school. And the only thing I could think of was, no.
Okay, we were joking. Seriously, we were joking. It was Kirsty Burgum, Everett. It was Kirsty.
Oh, yeah. Sure. Steve.
I felt this power come over me. I actually felt like I could have gone completely across the countertop to shake her into common sense. And it never happened, but it was just that fleeting moment. And so thank you very much, Hannah, for recollection.
That was the
That's what
last
it feels
time
like
I
on the
ever
other end.
thought that.
I couldn't tell what was just said.
So you were close to justifiable homicide at that point, is what you're saying, right?
Could have been.
I
She
never
was not
joked
going
about
to
that
quit.
again.
She was not going to quit high school under my
No.
Oh, that's awesome. Okay, so now what I would like to do also is kind of turn it over to our co-host, Teri. Tell us a wonderful story about your mom that you remember.
Oh gosh. Okay, what do you guys want?
Those are hard to
Wow.
find.
Well, hey, look, your mom didn't throw you under the bus too bad. So, now's your chance to
All right.
either pounce
Really go
or
for it?
be safe.
Okay. So my mom was notorious for April Fool's jokes, and I hated them. Hated them. As she already knows what I'm gonna say. I hated them so much. She thought she was so funny. And at like 10 and 12, I was like, can we think of something other than your car can't start and you jump in and you start the car? Because everyone. So my revenge, this is how it got my mom to stop doing these stupid April Fool jokes.
Oh no.
I was running by her house. Now, granted, we lived, Mom, like 2 blocks away from you at the time.
Yeah.
Running by, and here's my mom. She just got home from grocery shopping. My mom had these stupid little hands, like the little hands that would like on the door. And she got me so good in my own home that I screamed. And I thought, this is my chance. So I look over at this box and I'm carrying every single bag I can. But I look over in this box and there's this full arm. Like it is all the way to like the elbow, like full arm. And I was like, I'm carrying all these bags in, so my mom doesn't have to come back down. I got all the bags situated, went back, and she's like, oh, do I need to go close the trunk? I was like, no, I got this, totally fine. I slammed that arm in my mom's trunk. She drives around, and now I forget that I even did that. 3 weeks later, my mom calls me, I'm at work. And she goes, did you put that arm in my trunk? And I was like, yeah, why? And now I'm laughing hysterically. She goes, I got pulled over.
Oh my gosh.
Sir, in my parking lot at work because the arm was like waving at him. She was driving work.
They legitimately thought there was somebody in the trunk.
Yeah. She never pulled another April Fool's joke on me again.
Well, that kind of goes a little bit to speak about the Richland Police Department. So, when they talk about the best and the brightest, they're kind of like, or
I don't know if it was
place, maybe.
Yeah, I don't know if it was Richland or Kennewick, but either way. It was in front of all her coworkers. I think I definitely scored big on that one.
If that's what you wanted to do.
Yes,
Nice.
of course.
Bring me public humiliation. Yeah.
Yes.
So I'm getting the feeling like you guys kind of had a pretty fun relationship between you two.
Oh,
Yeah.
You guys pranked each other a lot. And
yeah.
lots of laughs.
Yeah. My dad was always saying, girls.
Was he the more serious one? Kind of like, all right, guys.
No.
Okay. He was
Yeah.
right in there with the pranks too.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay. So I want to circle back around to this later because I want to give you a little time to think about it. But like, who played the biggest prank on who growing up and which one was it? Because it sounds like there's like probably more than one to choose from here between you guys. But think about it for a little bit because I know that's one of those like on the spot questions. You're like, oh man, there's so many. I got to think like which one was the best. So we'll circle back around to that question in just a bit, but in the meantime, so I'm going to switch over to Celeste. I'm just going to kind of keep going back and forth here between everybody. Yes. So Celeste.
Yes.
Now, I know you, and I've heard wonderful stories about Hannah, but I would like for you to share with us one of your favorite memories of Hannah.
Oh, favorite memories. Let's see. I don't know. Could I throw her under the bus? I had a few of those ready to go.
Oh, well, yeah. Okay. Let's give us one of each too. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. I've got so many.
So many thrown under the bus. These are so many good ones.
Well, no.
Which one are we starting off with? The bus one or the regular one?
Okay. So just this is actually a bus one, but it kind of piggybacks off of what she had said earlier, where she has this tendency. She's like amazing. Like she could pretty much do anything that she puts her mind to. And so sometimes she gets a little hesitant because she just like wants to back out of things. And so I'm always like, no, you just keep pushing forward. You can do this. And so she was younger, I don't know, 4th grade-ish, I don't know, 3rd grade, I don't remember, but she didn't know how to jump rope. And so, and there was this jump-a-thon. And so I was like, oh, honey, you're going to be fine. You can just practice. And so come the jump-a-thon day, she still could not jump rope. And so I made sure I did a really nice high bid per jump so that, you know, if she got a few in, she would still like earn some money for her school. Well, lo and behold, like she almost quits the jump-a-thon multiple times while they're encouraging her to come, like to do well. And then all of a sudden it was almost like the jump rope gods like zapped her with something. And all of a sudden she was like star jump roper. And she was like, bam, 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 like racking up those like jumps. And I was like, wait, slow down a little bit. So I had to like try to slow her down, but she wouldn't do it. I ended up owing like hundreds of dollars to her school because she ended up jumping so much. And then she actually, didn't you win your grades? Like she jumped the most for her grade too. So anyway, she's just amazing. Like if she puts her mind to something, she can do it. And so that's what I love about her. I'm not going to throw her under the bus. I'm just going to say that she is just capable of amazing things. And I can't wait to see what she does in her life with her life. So yeah, that's what I'm going to share.
Very nice. Very nice. So Hannah, see, your mom like totally didn't throw you under the bus there, but I want you to know it's totally safe to continue throwing her under the bus. So we welcome that. It's okay.
To be fair, she so jump roping shouldn't be that difficult, but me and jump roping and coordination is not a thing. So like my mom is being serious when she was like, oh, we figured you get a couple in. Like they thought I had no shot.
Well, after a week long or however many weeks long of practicing and she still didn't have it down, I was like, oh, she got it though. She got it.
Now, Hannah, I have heard about your infamous coordination issues, namely when it comes to driving.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Your mom might have already thrown you under the bus a few times with that. So apparently,
privately.
Yeah, driving in between the lines isn't really kind of your thing. More like, you know, into things and kind of cutting corners, maybe a little too close.
Just a little bit.
A little bit. Yeah. Ditches or trees or, you know.
Or garages, shelves in garages. She likes those.
Yeah.
It was 2 times. 2 times I put the shelf in the garage to the wall. That's it.
Only twice. Yeah. So her in cars. She had to get a fancy car that kind of drives for her to kind of save her from not running into more people and things. So not real people.
No, never hurt a person. I've never hurt a person. It's just poles and nothing.
Poles and gates and fences and
it's okay.
Everything.
Yeah.
Else, so.
All that kind of good stuff.
Yeah.
So I want to kind of ask a little bit of maybe more of a sort of a not intimate question, but maybe sort of a tender question a little bit. So we'll start with Pam. And Pam, I want to know how it felt that first moment when you held Teri in your arms. She was first born.
It's gonna be a good one.
Sorry.
Yep, I was gonna say, here comes the Kleenexes. Yeah.
It was amazing.
Yeah.
She was so beautiful and so precious, and it took so little time to form her. I just held her and kept looking down at her, just amazed.
Now, is she your oldest?
Yeah.
She's your oldest child?
Yeah.
Okay. So she was your first then?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
But I'm her only.
Only? Oh, okay. So by
Yeah.
that standard, you're the youngest too.
Yeah.
Oldest and youngest.
And the middle.
Yeah. Gotcha. Okay. So, Celeste,
Yeah.
how was it when you held Hannah in your
Oh.
arms for that first time?
So for me and Hannah, and I'm gonna seriously try to keep it together because this is a touchy subject, as I've mentioned many times in many podcasts, but I couldn't get pregnant. And so we'd did fertility things and it didn't happen. And so we decided to do an adoption. And there was no greater joy than the moment that I first got to hold Hannah, because I had waited so long to become a mom. And it's tough in the church, especially where there's a lot of kids and a lot of topics that are focused on families, to not have children. And so that moment when she was a chubby little thing too, she was like 10 pounds, or just like big old chubby baby. And I just remember thinking, like, there's just not a better moment. Like, I couldn't believe I was finally a mom, and she was like the most beautiful thing ever. And she literally saved me in a lot of ways. I was really struggling emotionally and spiritually in a lot of ways. And so I know that she was a blessing and a miracle for her birth mother as well. And just with her birth, she was a miracle for two people instantly. So yeah, she's just amazing. It was amazing. It was just amazing. So yeah, anyway.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Now, Teri, I want to ask you the same question, even though your daughter's not on with us tonight.
No.
What was it like for you to hold your
Oh my gosh.
first child in your arms?
Well, my first child is my son.
Okay. Oh, your son. Okay.
Yeah, both labors were fast and furious. So I didn't really have a lot of time to comprehend with my son. Even my daughter, I didn't. I was an hour and a half of labor with her. So I wish I could look back and remember, but it was so fast that I don't remember any of the feeling or anything. I just remember thinking my mom walked in right as my daughter was being born, and I was like, oh, she made it, That's literally the only thing I remember.
It was just a whirlwind, huh?
Yeah.
Wow. Now, so Pam, you were there when your granddaughter was born, probably grandson too, right?
Yes. Yes. A true blessing.
Yes. Was it
Although
different?
Dad asked to put him back because he wanted a girl.
Oh,
That would be your father's humor.
Yeah. He's like, can we put this one back? I wanted a girl.
so you didn't know before they were born? Did you not get an ultrasound, or were you like, I just kind of want to be surprised sort of thing?
So my son, we knew. My daughter, we didn't. She was kind of on the fence. I want to say it was like, I didn't find out I was pregnant with her until like way later. But I want to say it was like right at the 9th month that I found out that she was maybe going to be a girl. We didn't know. It was to the wire. I had no idea that she was even going to be a girl until that point. So, I told my mom, I was like, it's probably going to be a girl. I was like getting everything for a girl, but at the same time, we were like, well, what if it's a boy? Because we just weren't really, they just weren't sure. So, yeah.
Gotcha. So was your dad happy then when your daughter was born?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Was your son like, wait, what? And your dad's just like, nah, it's okay. Grandpa wanted a girl. So yeah, you're second.
No, because He was 3 when she was born, so he just cared about his Legos and race cars and jumping over his sister.
Oh, that's so cute.
Yeah. Do they get along pretty well?
Yeah. Oh yeah, they're super close. They're outside actually right now with some friends at the fire pit.
They don't fight a lot.
No, they fight like an old married couple. Is that how you would describe it, Mom? Like they fight like an old married couple. It's hilarious to hear them fight.
I've never seen them exchange fighting experiences, so I can't.
It's not really like fighting. It's like it's my daughter scolding my son for being an idiot. and it's just this like they just turn into this old married couple. So
they get grouchy with each other or something.
They do. And you know, I should actually play referee and stop it, but I'm so amused by it that it just turns into a comedy skit, so I don't stop it.
Well, they develop having that experience too.
Yeah.
Nice. So, okay, I'm going to start first with Hannah and then ask the same question to Teri, since you are the ones that have your moms on tonight. Hannah, what is the one thing if somebody came up to you and said, tell me about your mom, like describe her to me, what's one thing that she's taught you throughout life that would be like, okay, let me tell you about my mom and what she's taught to me?
Okay. Well, one thing I'm eternally grateful for is for teaching me how to play Settlers of Catan.
Oh yeah.
I wouldn't be who I was today without that. So,
I still don't know how to play this game, and I'm afraid to play with your mom because she always kicks my trash at board games.
She's good. She's definitely like.
She's not just good, she's ruthless. I mean, it's like not a game to her. It's like a blood sport. So.
Oh, so at 12 years old, I was like, Mom, how do you play? And she was like, oh, okay.
We have arrived. Yes. So Settlers of Catan. Sorry.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, yeah. So that's one thing. So that's always just people ask like, oh yes. But anyways, also my mom is just very, I don't know if like spiritual is the right word, because she's not gonna walk around all day spouting Bible verses and stuff and like that kind of spiritual, but she's just very spiritually grounded. And so that's just something I've noticed from her. Ever since I was little, she always prays. She always goes to church, no matter where we've lived, no matter what's going on, no matter what the dealio is. She's always trying to remember to fast. Usually she asks Sunday is, because usually, but anyways. And that's just been, I kind of grew up with that, kind of just watching her personally kind of just do that. I figured that's what everyone was. And when I got up, went out on my mission, when I went to college and all that, I've noticed that not everyone just kind of has it such, it's not just like so innately just strong in their gospel and their testimony. And that's just something I really admire. Like I never will have to question if my mom believes church is true, if she has a testimony in prayer, if she believes that, you know, God is there and listens, because she just very well exemplifies that in her very little intimate actions without being like, you know, over the top and like, okay, we get it. You gotta, you know. So that's something I really appreciate.
Awesome.
Aw, baby. So sweet of you.
If that made any sense. Hopefully that made sense. I don't know if I said it right.
No, that's great.
I'm just gonna go ahead and just, I know, totally interject here real fast, but so when it comes to the Settlers of Catan, I have to like kind of defend myself.
She's got to defend herself now. Okay.
No.
So here's the thing. I can play to just have fun. I absolutely
No, she can't.
I can.
Her play to just have fun is to win. Her fun is winning.
No.
So like,
But when I play with Hannah, I can't play to just have fun because I got to beat her. So she doesn't ever see that side of me, but I definitely can. And but the thing is I've taught her so well that she can beat me every now and then. And it's tough. It's a tough.
I love that every now and then. Like,
yeah, no, it's like 50-50.
Oh, it is not. Oh my gosh,
It's gotten so intense that she pulled out a composition journal to keep track of who wins which games, so we can like see the percentages of who's winning. So we have like a composition journal titled Settlers of Catan winners, so that we can more accurately be like, look how many times she's won compared to me.
No,
she's crazy.
Wow.
no, I believe
thought
that.
I was competitive.
I totally believe that. Celeste does not like to lose board games. Like that's when she's just like, okay, wait, we got to play again.
It depends.
Like, no,
on
it's
what
3 a.m. Like, I know, but I can't go out on a losing streak. Like, I got to win.
It depends on what kind of board game. If it's like chance, I'm like, eh. But if it's like logic and you have to really like think about it to win, like you have to have strategy, those are my kind of games. I am really
I
good
can
at
show you
those.
guys the competition journal.
No, you are not. This is the thing.
Get it. I want to see it.
Yeah.
Not
The
true.
truth comes out. It's okay. I
Actually-
already know because I've been on the receiving end of this. Like,
Yeah.
I will freely admit I stink at board games. Like, they're just not my thing. Like, I'll do them. It's okay. But if I lose, I'm like, I don't care. It's like golfing to me. Like, it's just not my thing. So, but Celeste, like, if I win, like, it's totally by luck. Like, I don't know how I did. Like, somehow the dice just happened to go wherever.
Whatever.
I don't know. Like, what did we played one night, some online board games, and I think we played like 20 times and I won like once or twice.
Something like that.
Over and over. It was a massacre. And I think that once or twice still bugs her. So
Oh,
yeah.
whatever. Oh my gosh.
I know. Yeah, it's probably in her composition book. Like,
It is no
must
okay.
get revenge. I lost twice tonight.
She has like a whole
That was
shelf of
Hannah's
them with like all the different games that she's won. She's like, won this one, won this one,
Right,
won this one with the date
right.
next to it.
No. Oh my gosh. So no. No. See, I was trying to clear my name with this topic, not make it worse. No. Okay. The composition journal is actually Hannah's because she wanted to prove that she beat me 50% of the time, which she doesn't. And so, no, I don't claim that because it's not mine. Yes, I annihilated Everett on games. That I will own.
Yes. Yeah.
But I'm okay with him winning a few times. It's fine. Okay.
Yeah, those were like mercy wins. I like sat there, huddled up in a ball and cried all night. That's how I went to sleep that night. It was bad.
That's
It was
right.
bad.
Hey,
I'm
but
still
Karen-
seeking therapy to get over it, but
Well, that's yeah.
Baby
I
steps.
have
We're
that
working on
effect on people, so especially when I'm playing board games with them.
Good thing Dr. Phil is still on.
right.
You just have to pull out the picture of Jesus, sit it in the middle of the table so that everything remains calm and we'll be okay. And then there's no hostility that goes on with board games. But if that's not there, I can't promise you anything. So
See, I like Hannah like throws out these juicy tidbits of like, hey, let's get Celeste under the bus a little bit. Like the composition book. I didn't know about that, but I'm sure I'm written down somewhere like Everett 2, Celeste like 5,000. Like that's the score, you know. Yeah.
No.
So
Okay, so Heidi, okay, the chat, they just brought up spoons. I don't lose at spoons. I'm telling you, I don't lose.
My
at
mom, my mom knows spoons, but she knows this is the candy cane game.
Oh, candy cane
Candy
game.
cane. This is the one we play on Christmas Eve, Mom.
Yeah.
That's actually safer. They're not as hard. You can actually
No.
not kill someone with a
But
candy.
I'll tell you, you still can kill somebody. Ask her.
Me and Brent have this thing. He thinks he always wins, and I think I always win. And if I am ever in Idaho, me and Brent are going to have this big spoons fest. Because see, he's in the chat saying he's never lost. I've never lost. So
I've never lost either. All
Ooh.
three of us.
oh, it is on. It is
Battle
like
of the Unbeaten. Hey, you know what? I've never lost either. I've never played. So, you know,
oh, I'm
that's
sure.
given me a chance to never lose. So
And
yeah,
you-
I don't even know how to play spoons. No clue.
Well,
It's a card game. So you pass the cards, you have a dealer and you pass the cards around and you have to get 4 of a kind. So you have to get 4 2s or 4 4s or 4 7. If you do that, you're supposed to quietly grab a candy cane or a spoon or whatever. And then everyone else is supposed to grab them at the same time.
and it's kind of like musical chairs where there's one less. So if
Yeah.
you don't get a spoon, then you are out.
But my
Right.
mom plays the heightened version where they hide the spoons throughout the house.
So
you have
that's
to
just
go
the
look
final.
for a
Between the
spoon.
final two is the throughout the house. Yeah.
So people get
So
thrown
wait,
out of
what
the
do you
way.
do?
Okay,
You
so on the
take out
final
2?
one, when it's just 2 people, the other people that have been already eliminated, they will take the spoon and go, like, say, to the living room and hide the spoon.
Oh.
So you still play the card game,
Interesting.
and then if you're the first one out, you can go start looking for the spoon, and then if you're the one left behind, you have to keep going until you can go look for the spoon. And there may have been
Ah.
moments where I've like tackled someone else to grab the spoon.
7-year-old children.
Oh yeah.
Not 7. He was like 12. I mean, you do what you got to
The
do.
size of a 7-year-old.
It may have been a toddler, actually. There may have been a diaper on it. Just saying.
So,
All's fair.
Like
but I
totally
can play to
tripping
have
kids,
fun.
like,
But
no.
yeah, spoons is a good one. But I was going to say, I know that Everett had brought up that you were going to, Teri, you were going to talk about
Oh,
your guys's.
I like the redirect on that one. So.
I am totally redirecting this. Your practical jokes. Your favorite practical joke, right? Didn't he ask you to think about that? No?
Well, yes, that's when we're going to circle back around. But
Oh, are you not circled? Oh, you haven't circled yet.
Yeah.
Okay, never mind.
No. Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
So,
On spoons.
I'm like, I can't reroute Everett. He gets upset. So never mind. Take that back. I will reel that back in. I'll let you take over.
just when Celeste is like squirrel, like, so, hey guys, we're going to now talk about football. Like, wait, what?
What's wrong with football?
Totally off left field. So, okay. So Teri, if
Yes.
somebody were to come up to you and say, tell me about your mom, like, what did she teach you growing up? Like, what is special about your mom? What would you say to them?
I have a long list, but I will say she taught me work ethic.
Work ethic.
Mhm.
How so?
Well, because she would put so much time into work. And then as I got to be a teenager, I worked, how many jobs did I have as a senior mom? 3 jobs.
Oh my gosh.
I had 3 jobs and played soccer and schoolwork. I would do
0 hour.
Yeah. And I would do all this stuff. And and even in college, I was still like playing soccer and, you know, working and trying to balance everything. And I was able to do it. And she would always say, you got this, you know, like you got this, you know, and she would never encourage me to quit a job. She would never encourage me to do that. She would just say, well, you got it, you know? So I never thought about quitting. And I mean, even then I'm at, you know, jobs for long periods of time. Cause you know, when the going gets tough, you think, well, gosh, I can just find another place to go. And they're like, no, I got to kind of stick this out a little bit because my mom's going to yell at me if I quit.
Way to go, Mom. It's awesome.
So yeah, but I will say those taught me the greatest lessons for later, you know, so I'm grateful for that.
That's great. That's fantastic. So I do remember, I mean, for those who don't know, Teri and I graduated same class, same high school. And the girls soccer team at our high school, what did you guys win state like every year or something like that?
Yeah, pretty much, except for my senior year. We didn't win state that year.
Oh, you didn't? I thought it was like 5 years in a row or something like that. Like you guys just
No, it was going strong, but we lost a lot of the seniors. And so we only had, I want to say like 4 seniors on the team. So it was kind of a rebuilding year that year, but we went to state. So
there you go.
it was good.
Awesome.
I just remember you playing soccer and I remember thinking, man, those guys run a lot. Because we would be in like football or something like that. And the field like around our campus for the high school was just gigantic. And you guys were always running. And I'm like, dude, that's just too much running. Like I couldn't handle it. That's too much. I'd be puking like every 100 yards or something.
I think my mom enjoyed it when I got my license and I could take myself to my soccer practice.
Yes. Used to that.
Yeah. It was kind of nice.
Okay, so Pam, I'm going to ask you, tell me one thing growing up. Obviously, we've like kind of talked about Teri coming in saying she's going to quit school. But what's one thing growing up that you're like, okay, Teri, we need to talk here. Like, what was one thing where she drove you crazy?
I can't say she actually drove me crazy, but she really shocked me. Teri was a very early child, and she did things pretty much by the book. She wasn't rebellious in any way. And
Until
I went and picked her up, and
I was on a
said,
soccer team. It was a soccer tournament.
It's weird that Teri knows exactly what you're going to say.
well, I'm not sure.
Yourself.
I'm not sure we're on the same page, but anyway,
No.
I'm going to continue.
Okay.
So I went to pick her up, and she said, I had a new experience today. And I said, oh,
We're on the same page.
got it? And she goes, well, yeah, but it was an artistic experience. And so I'm thinking, oh, she had a project in art and blah, blah, blah. Well, then Teri has a whole lot of hair and it's very, very thick. So she picks up the back of her hair and it's really long, but she picks up the back and the whole back was all shaved, clear up to here. You couldn't even tell it by looking at her. And the only thing I could do was I was shocked. And I went, oh, and slapped my hand over my mouth.
She sucked in at least 5 flies.
I probably did.
I exaggerated.
I couldn't believe she did that. It was her own choice. She was old enough to do it, but it just shocked me because
I was 16 and I got bet that I wouldn't do it. I was at a soccer tournament and the girls were
well,
like,
then that was okay.
yeah. I was like, they're like, I bet you wouldn't do this. And I was like, yeah, I will.
You're like, of course I am. I will. I'm in a soccer tournament. I've got to do it.
Yeah. And then what am I going to do? Back out on my word? No, she told me to keep my word.
That's right. My mom told me I have to keep my word. So here goes my hair.
So all the way up to here, it was shaved. It was the worst summer ever, but it was a pretty cool summer too.
So who shaved your hair? Was that like just you and some friends or something? Or were you like kind of messing around and somebody like screwed up and you're like, well, now I got to like kind of shave it up to.
Literally, that was the whole thing, is that I had to shave my head. Originally I was supposed to shave my entire head. And I was like, guys, my parents are going to kill me if I do this. And it was, I want to say, I think it was Cindy Slater. She was like, she goes, yeah, her dad is going to really kill her. Don't do that.
That sounds like Cindy. Yep.
Yeah. It was a couple of the girls from the team just cut it with scissors, just cut it. So
It was shaved too.
it was shaved. Yeah, they did finish that off.
Yeah.
Cut then shave.
It was pretty shocking.
Yeah. Yeah, there was a couple of flies that lost their lives that day.
Nice. Well, okay. So I'm going to ask the same question to Celeste.
Oh,
Now, Hannah.
what was the question again? I was listening to the answer. I just didn't catch the question. Okay.
Tell us one thing growing up where you were just like, okay, Celeste, or I'm sorry, Hannah, I can't believe you did that. Like you just kind of, you had that moment where you're like in total disbelief.
Oh, I don't have very many to choose from. Hannah was amazing, honestly.
In all fairness, I have heard this a lot from you, that Hannah was a very, very good girl growing up.
She was.
She was always like straight,
Always just like
toting the line and
perfect.
Yep. But we all have our moments too, where I don't know what it is. Like, I think that's part of being a teenager where you're just like, I just feel like turning my brain off today and doing something crazy. So, I mean, that was me like 7th grade to about my junior year. So yeah, some of us had a little more time than just one day.
Well, Hannah didn't have any of those like high school. Not that I can pull up in my mind. One thing that was just kind of reflective of just her kind of stubborn personality is she was, I think, about 8 or 9, and okay, I've got a couple. Another one came up to now.
Gosh.
Oh, see,
like, which one do I want to
seconds.
share? I am good. Okay, I'm going to share the first one. Okay, so I told her she had to go downstairs and clean her playroom because her playroom was like a disaster. And I told her that I'm like, whatever you don't clean up, I am throwing in the garbage. Like I was that mad. I was like, you get down there, you clean up that room. And if you don't clean it up, it's going in the trash. So she's down there for a good couple hours. I obviously, looking back now, I know she was down there playing, but she was down there for quite a while. Finally came up and she's just like, okay. And I'm like, oh, did you get it all clean? She's like, yeah. And I'm like, oh, I'm so proud of you. Good job. Let me go check it out or whatever. So I go traipsing downstairs and it is just like a bomb again. And I was like, Hannah, I'm like, you didn't do anything. She goes, well, you told me to clean up the ones that I didn't care got thrown away. So I cleaned up my Care Bears and I cleaned up my strawberry shortcakes. And I don't care about the rest of this stuff, so you can just kind of throw it away. And I'm like, so I had to shove everything in trash bags and stick them into another room because I was, anyway, but that was just her. Like, she was like, oh, well, I'm just going to keep the toys that I absolutely don't want thrown away. And Mom, yeah, you can throw away all the rest. I don't care.
See, but I'm a minimalist, so I was trying to help her declutter the house. So, like, you're welcome.
Total parent fail on my part because it totally was a backfire. But yeah,
I remember that. I remember seeing the trash bags up on the shelf and being like I just remember looking up and seeing all my toys in trash bags. They were there for a while.
They were. I
mean, were there for a while.
Yeah, I left them up there. I'm like, you are not getting these toys. But I didn't throw them away because I was like, that's a lot of money to throw away. So, but anyway, that just goes to show that, like, that's about as rebellious as she got. Like, tell her to go clean the bathroom. And I go up and she's cleaning doorknobs in the hallway. And she's like, well, I'm cleaning. And I'm like, but you're cleaning the wrong thing. I don't need you to clean doorknobs. I need you to clean the bathroom. So it was just more her stubborn, like, don't tell me what to do. I'm going to do what I want to do. But usually what she wanted to do was she had a very good moral compass. So if she was always doing good. And so she just had these little moments where she's like, don't be telling me what to do, Mom. I'm going to do my own thing. But no, she was an amazing child. And honestly, I was always like, oh, look at my perfect little baby girl. Look how awesome she is. And feeling all good about how good of a mom I was. I'm like looking at these other people with their kids thinking, oh, you guys have got hellions because you don't know how to be a mom. I'm like, I got this in the bag. And, I was like, she's just so awesome. And then, Heavenly Father was like, oh, really? Okay, you think so? You think it's you? Here, try this next child. And then I was like, oh my gosh, it's nothing to do with me. Hannah just kind of came out that way. Because my son
gotta love Gabers.
So yeah, I got a little too cocky. So Heavenly Father's like, we'll check you on that. We'll give you your next child and see what you think. So, but no, Hannah was awesome. Always has been. So
I still haven't done anything that you've been like, what? I just bought a bunny the other day, Mom. Come on.
I did buy a bunny. I told her not to, but she wanted to buy a bunny. So she's got a bunny now. Yay. Good for Hannah. No.
Okay.
It's okay, Hannah. I did that to my mom too.
Bought a bunny.
It was so cute.
No joke.
The bunny's not at my house though. If it would have been at my house, she would not have a bunny. I'm just
no, it was at my mom's house.
Hey, I would have had the bunny either way. So
nice. So I want to ask a question for everybody here, and basically, so if you're here with your mom or if you're here with your daughter, think of what you see in the other person that's a reflection of yourself that you're most proud of. And we'll just kind of go down the line. I don't know who would want to go first on this, but so does that make sense? So for example, Celeste, what do you see in Hannah that you are most proud of that's a reflection of yourself? Like, I see like this part of me in there. And then Hannah, I'll put the question back onto you about your mom. Like, I see this part of me that this that I do that, like, the older I get, I'm like, oh shoot, I am kind of like my mom, And so we'll go back and forth with those questions. Does that make sense?
Yes. And I think Teri wants to start this one out. So
really?
Yeah. Oh,
I can think about that one.
Let's just redirects like that. Yeah.
Why me, Celeste? Come on.
I'm like over here thinking, I don't know. Like Hannah just, I don't know. She's amazing without my influence. So that's why I'm like, I'm not sure if I can find me reflecting. So
come on, let's not throw ourselves under the bus, Mom.
Well,
come on.
I just need some time to think. So, but I bet you Teri, she's got it worked out over there.
Teri, what do you see in yourself that is a reflection of your mom that you're most proud of?
Well, I mean, there's a long list. So Mom, don't take this as like my sense of humor and my ability to be teased in return. That always got me through, everything. And work ethic. I mean, everybody knows I'm a workhorse. And my compassion. Believe it or not, Mom, you do have compassion.
I know. Yeah.
Yeah. And she doesn't like to admit it like myself. So it's hard for me to like put that on her because I know for me as well, I'm kind of like, no, I don't. I always downplay it. So she does the same.
So give me an example of how your mom was compassionate growing up. We'll dive into that a little bit.
That's really hard because I don't know if I can really, I think it's just one of those things, like as a young age, you're just kind of taught and you're brought into it so much that you don't realize it's happening. My mom might have to tell you more about that, because I always remember like going to like the Salvation Army tree or things like that and picking a name like every year for Christmas. But I don't know if that was just one year or if it was every year. There's always like, just being friendly to your neighbor and just, those kind of things. My mom would have to give you more details on that, because I don't remember a lot with that, but especially not on the spot like this.
Yeah. Sometimes it's hard to like just pull up those stories right there.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Great. Well, Pam, so what do you see in Teri that you see yourself in a little bit that you're most proud of? Like, okay, I see a little bit of me in X, Y, or Z that she does.
Her sense of kindness and her compassion for others. For an example, one of the ladies from the church had cancer, and Teri,
She was in my ward, by the way.
orchestrated a group of us, I was part of it, to make Thanksgiving dinner, and we delivered it down and made what was going to be a bleak day a special one.
Fantastic. So
Totally forgot about that.
was that recently then?
Oh, no.
It was a while ago. Okay.
Oh, probably in the 80s, Teri?
No, it was in the 80s. Because that was Mary, because you worked with Mary.
Mhm.
I had Brennan. And
Oh, so that would have been,
McKenna.
okay. Really?
So that was in 2002. Yeah, I was pregnant with McKenna.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah, I totally forgot about that. That was in November of 2002.
Okay.
Great.
Yeah.
So is that something that you did growing up? Teri had kind of mentioned the Salvation Army names. Did you guys go down and pick one out for Christmas or something like that? Sponsor a family type deal?
Mm-hmm. That and the mission, we would take money and go buy toys and so on, take it over to the mission for the children to have Christmas. Teri spun off from all of that and she made it her own, and she's still very charitable today. For an example, at Christmas time, we host a gathering at my house for the local fire department and EMTs to show our appreciation, and we make homemade hot spice cider and hot chocolate and cookies and all kinds of little snacky foods, and they come in and get out of the cold and have a chance to have a snack before they wrap up.
Mom, that doesn't count. That doesn't count because I volunteer with them.
Oh, Teri, it's still very charitable, and you've been doing that for 20 years. So
Yeah, actually 22 years now.
we didn't get to do it last year because of COVID, but it's
Yeah.
an ongoing deal. It's charitable, shows appreciation.
Yeah. I would say that counts.
Yeah, me too.
So now
I
these
just
are like
think it counted.
EMTs. You said they're like EMTs and
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just the fire
Firefighters.
department that I volunteer at, and that's just the stopping point. So it's just one of the big food drives that I help put on every single year. And we go through Catholic Family Services to provide meals and gifts for families in the local area that they wouldn't have a Christmas otherwise. So then we dress up. My mom doesn't know this part. We dress up, and I'm always the elf, and we get a Santa and Mrs. Claus, and we deliver the presents the weekend before Christmas to the family.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
very cool. That's great. I love stuff like that. Christmas is one of those times that obviously it brings out that kind of charitable aspect in a lot of us, but I always wonder, like, why can't I feel this way like all year long? And I think it's probably in part because during Christmas, there's like a lot of gift giving and things like that. And some people just, have more to give than others. So for example, like, it's May right now, everybody's not gearing up to buy presents, and some families don't have presents type thing. So, yeah, I think that's great. Anyways, thank you for sharing that. That's fantastic and super commendable as well. I love that kind of thing. So now let's turn it over a little bit to Hannah.
Oh, good.
Yeah. Let's start with Hannah. What do you see in your mom that you're like, okay, I definitely do that too. And I love that trait that she has.
Well, obviously, I love my competitiveness from my mother. If you guys can't tell. Guys don't like it, but I love it for myself. Let's see, there's two that come to my mind. Let's see. Well, so my mom is a very logical thinker. She's very analytical, very smart, sees the world through logic and reason. And that's like the opposite of how I see the world. And so I see the world through emotion and feeling, which is great. However, that gets me in trouble a lot because I don't think things through sometimes logically. I kind of just go on an impulse how I feel about it versus what makes sense logically. I also don't like add things up very quickly in my head logically. Like logic is just not where my brain goes to, but that's where hers goes to. And so at first when I was growing up or whatever, always having her voice of reason kind of be like, oh, it's actually cold outside, you probably should wear a jacket. And I was like, well, I don't feel like wearing a jacket. Like that kind of was like, it seemed a little bit not annoying, but it seemed like we just weren't going to connect as I got older. But I'm realizing now that I'm starting to accept it and think the way she's thinking. And almost I can hear her voice in the back of my head kind of being my logical reason and helping me make more logical decisions, if that makes any sense. It's almost like having her last 20 years kind of give me that, it's cold, you should wear a jacket, or, oh, maybe you should, I don't know, do this, or, oh, let's think logically here. Like, let's not respond to that message with a bunch of exclamation points and big caps. Let's think logically first. Let's pause for a minute and really think of what we have to say. Let's change it from saying you're in trouble to say I feel, like that, those kind of things. All those little moments that she kind of helped me as I was growing up, as I was a teenager. And I'd be like, I'm so sad, I'm gonna text her a bunch of mad face emojis. She'd be like, oh, let's think this through. It's kind of now playing with how I'm interacting in my now college, big grown up years. And so I don't know if it's 100% my logic anymore. I think it's more just I can hear what she would say and it's kind of helping me make better decisions kind of thing. And so that's something that my mom has definitely passed on to me, is just her logical way of soundly dealing with things, her reason, her sound judgment, her smartness or whatever, that I'm hoping as I get older, it'll become more of like a staple in like my natural reflexes versus just me thinking, this is what my mom would say if she was here. I'll be able to just kind of impulsively do it myself. But that's one thing for sure. I'm very grateful for it because I make a lot of dumb decisions on my own, just because I don't think things through. So it's been great in college to not end up in the middle of some position where I'm like, I bet my mom might have had something to say about this. But so yeah, that's just one thing. She's just very, very smart lady when it comes to decisions. But another thing too is I don't have children yet, but hopefully just I'll be able to take her selflessness and definitely exemplify it in my future motherhood as well. Because I think she's an incredibly selfless woman. She doesn't think of herself first ever. And I've come to know that a lot more in the past year, just understanding what she's gone through and how she's interacted with what she's gone through. I'm really realizing how like thinking about herself or what she wants first is just not even in the books. It's just all about me and my siblings, how we're feeling and how we're going to handle things and how we're going to, emotionally be able to come out of something. And I don't know, I've seen myself also be more inclined to think of others first. It's not like I'm a selfish person, but like I've noticed myself being more mindful of really how other people are feeling around me, because obviously my mom's been doing it as a full-time occupation for the past 20 years and she's very good at it, that I don't even know she's doing it. That's how you know someone's good at being selfless, when you don't even know they're being selfless. And I had no clue. So I really hope that as I continue to get older And as I have my own children, that I'm able to put them first as much as she puts me and my siblings first. And I'm trying to practice that now with my siblings and those around me. But she's definitely a very incredible woman like that in that way. And I really hope that's left a mark on me. And I really hope that I can be that mother as well to my children. A logical mother who's selfless.
Oh,
That's
babe,
awesome.
you're so sweet.
That's great.
Love your mom.
I know. I'm like so not tearing up. So not.
So last but not least, Celeste,
Yes.
what do you see in Hannah that you're like, okay, I am super proud of her for doing this, for being this way? You see a little bit of yourself that's kind of rubbed off in her.
You know, I've seriously been trying to sit here and think, and I look at who she is and I just see how she's changed me. So it's kind of really hard to do it. But I guess if there's one thing that I've tried to teach her that she's done a really good job of embracing and emulating in her life, it would be to be kind to those around her, because you just never know what is going on in their lives privately. And I've tried to help her to, in those moments where she's upset with someone, try to kind of think about, well, you know, maybe they're just having a rough day or they're having a rough time at their home, or, you know, you just never know. So try not to get too mad or upset, and just to be kind and loving to everyone. And so I tried to help her. I've always like prayed with her that she could friend and be a good friend to those who are in need of a friend, versus just trying to go with like the in crowd or whatever. And so she actually, and it might have already just been in her to do that. I don't want to take credit for it because she is just kind of an amazing individual. So it might have just been innately in her, but she, as she got older, she was really good at being very inclusive. She's not judgmental. People can come from all different walks of life, and she's very open and loving toward them and accepting of them. And she just doesn't judge from outer appearance or different lifestyles. She just accepts people for who they are. And I love that about her. I've always been very proud that that she's like that, because it's, especially at that age, it's just so hard because you want to be with the in crowd and you want to be accepted and all these things. And Hannah was always chosen by her church leaders or whatever. If there was a new person, they would say, hey, Hannah, will you please, you know, take this person under your wing? Or if there was someone in seminary who didn't want to come or whatever, the seminary teacher would have Hannah go sit by them and befriend them, because she just had that ability to just love the person for who they were, where they were at, without judgment. And there's been many times in like at church where there'd been talks about, you know, not doctrine wise, but people making comments about how they don't like it, their kids hanging around kids that might be bad influences or whatever. And I just remember being proud, thinking, Hannah's so set in who she is and so grounded in what her belief system is, and in just loving everyone. Like, she can be around a host of different peoples and it doesn't really affect her. Like, she ends up affecting them. And so, I mean, it's just fabulous. Like, this is just another little random, like, she had someone who was in one of her classes who was a lesbian and was very interested in her. And Hannah was like, you know, I'm not a lesbian, but hey, we can still be friends. Whereas other people might have been like, leave me alone and, you know, be mean and whatever. No, Hannah was just like, no, I'm not interested in that, but you know what? Hey, let's be friends. And so she was friends with this individual. And so that's what I love about her. I don't know if she necessarily gets that from me, but that's the teaching that I taught her. But I think
No, I definitely get it from you, Mom. Because
okay.
There's been so many times as I was growing up where I would get upset at someone or a guy who made me mad or whatever, and it used to drive me crazy. We'd be like, oh, well, let's be nice. Let's respond kindly. They maybe you're struggling too. And I'd be like, oh no, they made me mad. Like, they don't get the benefit of the doubt here. But so I can still hear your voice in the back of my head every time I'm annoyed at anybody saying, well, let's still be kind and let's, you know, not judge too quickly. So I definitely can attest that you have done a good job with that, Mom, because
Oh, good.
I hear you to this day.
You can
And
hear
guys
me.
can be very mad in Provo, so I've been
I
really
wonder-
struggling with it.
Is that really a good thing that I'm always echoing in your head? I don't know, but hey,
Yes.
I'll take it as
These
a
guys
compliment.
on mutual are making me so mad, and I hear my mom saying, oh, maybe they're going through a hard time too. And I'm like, okay.
Well, they might be. I think everybody has their challenges. So, everyone's bearing their own cross. And so let's just be kind because we don't know. I mean, I've been through some really, really difficult times and no one knew what I was dealing with. And I would have hoped that someone would have given me the benefit of the doubt, even if they didn't know the details of what I was dealing with. So yeah, I just think it's an important concept to kind of, put into our lives. So yeah, anyway, okay.
Well, I've been giving all these boys the benefit of the doubt, thanks to you, Mother. So
That's good. Good job, girl.
So I don't have my mom here today, obviously. But I just wanted to kind of add a little bit of like my little bit that my mom gave to me growing up. So as I mentioned, I lost my mom about a month and a half ago. She finally succumbed to Alzheimer's. So, she is no longer with us. But, the thing that I loved the most about my mom is she was very tough, but at the same time, very compassionate. So, for example, I remember as a kid, like I have a younger brother who's a year younger than me. And I don't know if it's just a boy thing or whatever, but we were just always like self-destructing on things. Like it's just like we had to break something or like, jump off the roof into the bushes to see if it would break your fall type of thing. It's just kind of like stuff you do as a kid. And yeah, I mean, like the initial response is like, okay, I've got this like gaping head wound and I'm like bleeding all over the place. And my mom would come along and be like, you're fine, rub some dirt in it, like you'll be okay type of thing. And when you're a kid, you're thinking like, dude, I'm traumatized. Like I just fell out of a tree. And it's like, well, okay, you kind of jumped out of the tree to see if it would like hurt to like hit the ground on your back flat. But true story, I actually did that twice. So she was always just kind of like, okay, well, you'll be fine. Like you're not dying. You're okay. There were a couple times like we even had to go to the emergency room, but even then on the way to the emergency room, I remember her saying like, you're going to be all right. It'll be okay. We just got to go get you stitched back up or get your like toe put back into place because it's at a 90-degree angle or something crazy like that, those type of things. But at the same time, she was a hospice nurse. And I remember her coming home at nights just crying because she had just lost a patient. And I remember thinking that's the oddest thing because you're a hospice nurse. Like these are terminal patients. This is to be expected, right? But she had a way of connecting with people and just being compassionate to them where it was just always something for her that was more than a job. It was a service to make somebody's life better and to make them comfortable in those last moments of their life. And in her last moments of life, she obviously, that kind of fell onto my father to take care of her. But I couldn't help but think of all of the times and all of the people that she kind of came in and helped. And I think about that all the time when I see somebody else struggling, like, okay, what would my mom do in this situation to take care of them? First, she'd probably tell them to rub some dirt on it. Like, no, you don't understand. It's like cancer. It's like, rub some dirt on it. She grew up on a farm in Houston. So she was just kind of a tough farm girl that way. But she also would give them that compassion that people needed. So she was a tough but compassionate person. So that was my mom, who is no longer with us, but is no longer suffering either, which is a good thing. So, okay, I have asked a lot of questions tonight.
Yes.
I'm going to turn it over a little bit to Celeste and Teri to kind of to interview their special guests that are on tonight a little bit. So
I want a cross-examination. I want to ask Teri's mom a question.
yes, by all means.
So Pam, so here's my question for you. So our topic tonight is about being a mother and having that title. and how it can be so joyous, but that it can also have difficulties. And also, of course, being someone who's struggled with infertility and found motherhood via adoption and other ways, I'd also like to talk about that as well. Some people who may not be a mother as of right now, and how we as mothers can support those that find themselves in that situation. So my question to you, Pam, is what joys have you found with being a mother? What is like something that you just think, if I wouldn't have got this opportunity, I would not have had these moments? What are some of those situations you can share with us?
Your heart goes in a direction you never imagined. The love, the depth of love from a mom. Can't get any deeper than that. That's all I can think of, Celeste. I'm sorry.
No, but I think that that's true. I think that when you become a parent, and I'm sure this is the exact same for fathers out there as well, when all of a sudden you have this little innocent baby that needs you 100% of the time, and you're the one, like they look to you for everything. And what I found I really like the fact that they just accepted me as is. Like it didn't matter. I mean, if I looked like I just came out of a whirlwind or whatever, like, or if I was having a bad day, or like, they just loved me for me. And I found that gives you a source of like self-confidence that maybe you don't get elsewhere. Is that something that you experience as well?
Oh, I remember the warm greetings. They were actually better than a puppy.
They're better than what?
Better than a puppy.
Oh.
When I would come home from work and you would run to greet me, it was so warm and so jubilant. You were just so pleased that I was.
I'm sorry, I don't still do that. I just start doing more.
I guess you're forgiven, but
okay.
Anyway, no, it was that was very joyous.
Right. Okay, Teri, now you.
Okay. I have wanted, is that the dog's?
I don't have a dog, so it's not mine.
Is that, Mom, is that your dog's?
No.
Did we lose Hannah?
She will be right back.
Oh.
But she's muted, so I don't think it's her dog's either.
Nope, I think we've got somebody.
We might have somebody's mic on.
Yep, I got it muted. That's okay.
All right.
Okay, so I have wanted to know a serious question for my entire awareness. How did you and Dad really, really get my name? Because Dad always told me that he saw the cute little poodle down the street running from his family, and they called it Teri, and he thought that would be a perfect name.
Oh gosh.
I don't.
He's great.
Well, I don't know. It was a building process. Your dad took the full honor of naming you, and he wanted to name you Teri. Why? He never explained. He started out where he wanted to name you Teri Lee,
Right.
L-G-H. And I thought anybody hearing that name would think that you were a boy.
Right.
So I said, if we can change it to Lynn, I like Teri Lynn. And so did he. And so that's what you became.
Which I went by Teri Lynn for a good portion of my life.
Yeah.
Until I got into, I think it was high school, right? And they made me separate my first and middle name because I used to hyphenate it.
Oh,
how fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I really don't know, Teri. It never occurred to me to even ask.
Yeah.
Something important to your dad that he be the one to name you, and he wouldn't name you until he saw you. That was important. I never got a hint. He needed to make sure that the name matched the person.
Interesting. Yeah. So I had a Southern name for a long time.
Yeah.
And I didn't even live in the South.
And now you know you're named after a poodle that's running down the street. So
Well,
Apparently.
And you're Teri Lynn is a Southern name. It wasn't.
Well, it's very
sounds
southernish.
southernish. Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
There's somebody somewhere in the South named Teri Lynn. Close enough.
exactly. Not just somebody, Everett. There's
They
many.
always put those little middle names in there, you know, Beth Sue and all that stuff.
yeah.
What is going on?
It could have been Terry Sue or Terry Joe.
No, thanks.
Terry Joe.
Yeah, no.
So Teri, do you want to give us your take on what you learned from being a mom, or the joys of being a mom? Like, what is it that you've been blessed with by being?
I have learned that there's many days you get to practice a lot of patience. And sometimes it's not about your time or your need of time. Sometimes it's just their time. And so you just have to roll with the punches. And I think motherhood has taught me not to be so rigid, because I know when I was younger, I was just very like by the book. And I know my mom could probably say that. I wasn't as easygoing, I don't think. Personally, I don't think I was as easygoing when I was a kid as I am now. And being a mom has definitely taught me to be easygoing. And
Yeah, I mean, you have to be kind of flexible, or else you'd be crazy upset the whole time. Like you've got to learn that. And I think
and if you have more than one child, not every day they're going to have a good day. They're going to rotate, shift it around on you.
Yeah, like one's gonna have a good day, and then the next, like that same day, the other kids are not, and you're just like, I would just like one day where everyone's happy. Like, how much does that, like, what do I got to do to get that?
Right, and you definitely can't sweat the small stuff.
No. One thing that I learned that kind of goes along with that is that, and I had to learn this the hard way. I do struggle with anxiety, OCD, those type of things, that where I like things orderly. And if it kind of gets out of order, it kind of freaks me out. So Hannah was fairly young, probably kindergarten, first, second, somewhere around there. And it was having a rough time with having two kids and trying to balance that, because that's kind of it was a big change for me, because it was just a big change for whatever reason. And I came to realize that the term seasons, like there are seasons in our lives. And even if I wanted to do, let's say one example is I wanted to learn how to play the piano. That was one thing I've always wanted to do. And so I started taking lessons. My son was probably 18 months old, around there. He was just walking around and stuff. And he, anytime I'd sit down the piano, he would come and climb and scream and yell. And it just became like just so horrible to try to practice. And I couldn't get mad at him. He was just a baby. But I had to come to that realization, like, okay, this is not the season to be doing piano, right? I wanted it, and it was a good desire, not a bad thing to do, but that moment wasn't the time. And so coming to understand that with motherhood, and I still use that with myself because I still got kids, young kids in the house. And sometimes I'm like, you know what? I want to do X, Y, and Z, but this is not the season for that. I'll be able to do that down the road. But that was something that I learned through being a mom, that it actually brought me joy, because it helped me be more relaxed and just be like, right now I'm changing twins' diapers every single day, like 25,000 of them, like holy diapers, Batman. Like that was what was going on with my twins. But it was all right. Like, I'm like, this is my season. My house looks like a daycare center. This is my season. And someday it won't, So that was something I learned that was beneficial, I think, from being a mom.
That's awesome. So Teri, let's have you now switch over and ask the questions for Hannah.
Okay, so tell us, as a mom and daughter, what is the most embarrassing moment that you've had?
No, you did
I
not.
did.
And feel free to give us all the details too.
Hannah,
Go back, because
keep in keep in mind, I am still your mom. Like, please just keep in mind that there are certain
a
stories that are
bummer.
not meant to be shared. Hannah, please.
This is gonna go public because
Don't.
I have the best one.
Don't, please.
I can't share it.
Don't.
I
Good.
can't share it. I feel like there's
Yeah,
like
ask the question.
like a
Several that
law
you
against
cannot
it or
share.
something.
Please don't.
You can't use the
My
word
mom and I
kind
are
of
very
yet.
close. Yeah, so my mom and I are like very close, and there's like no boundaries of what's like gross and not gross. Like when it comes to or off limits or on limits with my mom and I, we're just very open. So there's some fun stuff that's gone on, but it's okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Come up with something that's semi funny, semi embarrassing.
Shoot. Okay, I'm gonna have to take a second to think about this.
Okay. Yeah. See, that is kind of a tough one to come up with last minute. I mean, on the
Well, I can come up with like 70, but they just can't probably be said right now. So.
Oh, no. They can definitely be said right now. Yeah. Go ahead and share. The more embarrassing, the better.
Oh my gosh, Hannah. I am
Just
done.
remember, Hannah, you don't live with her right now, so she can't retaliate tonight.
Just remember where you're going to be in 2 weeks. Keep that in mind.
Oh gosh. Sorry, I'm just waiting real fast to hear back.
He's asking permission.
Oh. Okay. So rather than
Okay, I have a story.
Okay.
Oh my gosh, are you seriously going to share that one?
Yeah, it's like the best one I have right now that won't get me killed. Okay, so
Oh my gosh, this is okay. I have to disclaimer. I am so sorry that she's about to share this because really, Hannah, can you not?
this is not even that bad.
Okay, let's just go ahead and share it.
Oh my gosh.
Okay. So we're women, right? Well, so every month-ish, there's like this thing that happens, right? Well, me and her, I think we were at the movies or at dinner or something. I don't even know. But for some reason, we both were on our lady time. And I don't know if I had just like started mine or something had happened and I wasn't prepared for it. And I was like, oh my gosh, shoot, like, what am I going to do? But she was finishing hers, right? So we were kind of like on and off, right? And so we were installed next to each other in the bathroom. And I was like, Mom, I was like, what am I going to do? I just started. Like, how am I going to fix this? And we were somewhere we couldn't, like, it wasn't like we were by a Walmart. We were kind of somewhere different. And she was like, well, I mean, I'm wearing a pad. Would you like it? So she took it off.
I told
gave
you.
it to me. And I used it just until we could get home and I could swap out because I needed it.
I told you.
But she had no problem with that. And I was like, Mom, like most moms would have been like, that's where we draw the line. That's disgusting. Heck no. But I was like, my mom would be there for me. And I was like, yo, Mom, sorry for all the men in the audience. It's so uncomfortable right now. But all the women are laughing. But anyway, and so, yeah, it was very embarrassing. She's like, you'll never speak of this to anybody. I did, obviously.
Oh,
but
my gosh.
We were both very embarrassed by it.
Obviously not enough to not share it, but yeah.
It was just one of those moments that we both got home and I was like, anyways, I mean, you know, you do what you gotta do, you know?
You say, hey, use some toilet paper, roll it up or something.
There could have been a lot of answers there, but she just wanted me to loan what I had.
That's where my brain went to immediately. I was like, Mom, just give me yours. And you think my mom would have been like, no, you disgusting. Take off something else. And I was like, she was like, sure.
Oh man.
Yeah.
My daughter and I are close, but I'd be like, hold on, I'm going to the store.
Well, I don't remember where we're at, but like seriously, it was like a stall swap. It was just the weirdest scenario. I was like, for real? Are we really doing
That's just the level of comfort my mom and I have. And neither of us thought, okay, no, that's like crossing the line. She was like, sure.
Okay.
I feel like I literally have nothing to add to that. So
what can you add to that? I'm like, just
I got
to
nothing on that one.
No, I'm sorry, I asked the question.
I did try.
At least she won't kill me.
I told her
She
not
won't
to
kill me
hear
for
it,
telling that one.
but y'all just wanted to hear it. So I'm like, okay. Hannah's an open book. She definitely is. So she'll pretty much share whatever she can.
That's funny.
So let's flip the script. I want to know from Pam the same question. What's the most embarrassing moment that you and Teri had growing up?
Hi. Well, I can't help but get out of the bathroom stall that these ladies were talking about.
Oh my gosh.
Restroom. And I'm in a stall, and all of a sudden someone grabs my ankle and I let out this huge scream.
No, it wasn't
Very-
a huge scream. It was very manly.
Well, that's how I scream.
like-
I don't
was
scream
like
like a
a-
girl.
There was like a dude in the women's bathroom.
Wait, that's what it sounded like, or there really was?
Yeah, it does,
Yes.
because I scream like a guy would, and women fleeing from the bathroom, it scared them. So
We were laughing. Sorry, this bathroom was absolutely packed. I was taking my mom for a Christmas present. We went to Garth Brooks, and I saw her little heels right up against the side of the stall, and I was like, oh, I'll just give this a little squeeze.
Yeah.
I just reached down and I just go lightly squeeze it, and she just lets out this most manly scream I've ever heard from my mother. And it was quite impressive. This was like gender check and stall.
Everybody was freaking out, like, okay, there's a guy in the bathroom, like,
Yes.
It was just
Where?
dead silent, but then everyone started laughing and they had no idea why they were laughing. And my daughter was in the next stall and she just lost it. And people were outside just looking at the bathroom like, what was that?
Yeah, we had a lot of questions when we left the stalls.
Yeah.
that's awesome.
That was pretty funny.
Happy Mother's Day.
Okay, so we had a really good question in the audience from Monica. And Monica, maybe you'd like to come on and ask your question, and then kind of open this up for a little discussion here, because I think it is a good point, and I think it's something that could be a good discussion topic. And if you don't want to turn your camera on, that's okay. If you just want to do your microphone, or you're welcome
No,
to
she
do
does need to turn on her camera because we went to the Virgin Islands together.
Ooh, you have a nice.
No, but I'm already in bed, Teri. I can't turn on my camera. It's dark. You won't see
Hey, I've
me.
seen you worse.
That's probably true. But it is dark in here. What did I ask? So my question, I worded it much better probably in the chat than I am now. But basically I was kind of wondering, I feel like a lot of times on Mother's Day, and when we have these discussions, we get to hear a lot from people who have really good relationships, right? With their moms and their kids. And so I was kind of wondering, like, what types of things would you say or advice would you give to those who struggle on Mother's Day, either because they have really problematic relationships with their kids or problematic relationships with their moms, or for some reason, like I know a lot of women who are not naturally caring or nurturing or struggle with that aspect of motherhood for a lot of reasons. So I gave the example of a really good friend of mine who's struggling with chronic depression, and she's tried all types of different medications, including like new medications, and nothing seems to be working. And so right now she's like separated from her kids and she's staying with her parents, trying to get her mental health under control. Right. But obviously it's kind of an ongoing struggle for her to feel like she's even being a mother, right? Like her husband is kind of doing things all on his own, and she kind of doesn't know if the relationship is going to last because of it, just lots of things. So that was just like one example, but it's something I see a lot in people I know and around. I'm just kind of wondering, like, what kinds of things would you say either as comfort, or what advice would you give, or how would you structure a discussion of motherhood to those types of people?
So the reason why I wanted this question asked is because my mom actually, I have 2 half siblings and they're quite a bit older than me, but my mom, she would know firsthand on this. I don't know if they ever shared anything with her, but I just felt like my mom would be a good person to direct that question to because of that experience. So, Mom.
I'm not real sure. I think the part is to be real and make sure you're sincere. If you're answering questions, be real. And if the parent, referring to your friend, Monica, if she is having difficulty putting the role of mom together with her current mental health, being real with the children and saying something to the effect of, I'm sorry, I'm not all I need to be right now. And I want to apologize. I'm working on it. And I promise I will be better for you. I just don't know how long it will take. Something instead of denying. I think if as a parent, you want to come out and deny to the child, you discredit that child. You discredit their hurt. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. And I really love that, just the idea of authenticity.
Mm-hmm. And I think it's important for our kids to see us be real, to see us be like, you know, I'm not perfect. I make mistakes. I have challenges too. I struggle with sadness and other aspects of just being human. Like it just is a part of life. And I think that as we're able to share those real live moments with our children, when they experience them, when they find themselves in their same situation, they'll realize they're not alone and that it's not they're weird or whatever. Like they realize, okay, this happens sometimes to people. And so I think sometimes as parents, if we try to give off, though, I'm perfect and, you know, I can handle everything and perfectly, like that just discredits. I mean, just it just isn't a benefit to our kids, I don't think, in my opinion.
It's true.
I know with my kids, I always admit fault and I always say I'm sorry. And I always say please, I always say thank you, but I never ever not admit it.
What would you say
Yeah,
to
for
those
sure.
people who, as Monica had pointed out, I don't remember if you answered or asked this part just now or it was in the text, but or in the chat. So those people who've grown up, who just never really had that natural affection from their mom, who, you know, maybe this day to them doesn't feel so special. What kind of things would you say to somebody like that?
Who's the directed to?
Yeah, who are you asking? Are you asking
Oh,
Monica? Or are you...
I just kind of opened that up in general. So any, I guess, Teri, Pam, Celeste, or even Hannah.
So,
Okay, go ahead.
well, I was going to say, I think that, I mean, I don't know, like that's a tough one. I think that in any of those moments, which I think Pam was just saying, like, if we just are good at listening and saying, you know, I don't understand what you're going through, but I can tell it hurts. I can tell that you're struggling and I'm sorry you're having to deal with that. Again, you know, just validation is probably the best option. And then listening. A lot of people don't want to hear like how to fix it. They just want to hear, they feel like they're being heard. They just want to have someone hear them and validate how they're feeling. And so sometimes I don't think we have to have the answers. I think we can just be a good friend and just someone to just sit and listen and hold them if they need to cry or, you know, just be there for them. That would be my advice. I don't think we have to have the right words, I guess.
Yeah. Any other thoughts from?
I was just going to share. I remember Teri was challenged with learning. She was yearning for a grandparent in her life, and she really came up zero in that department. And so she adopted a couple different grandmas and had very fulfilling experience with it. So there's options. Sometimes you just have to get creative.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's very true. Like I think I was what, like 7th or 8th grade when I was going and seeking out grandparents.
That's about right.
Because I went to that retirement home.
Yeah.
I would go to this retirement home after school and my mom would just come pick me up. And it was just kind of like, it was one of those things that I was just like longing for that relationship, but I never had it. And so I would go and seek it somewhere else. And then when my grandma found out that I was doing that, she was so offended. I was like, we don't have a relationship.
Right.
How am I supposed to relate to you if we don't have a relationship?
Right.
Not only was that mature relationship from the mature individual to you, it was meaningful from you to her, but it was also meaningful from her to you. And so
Yeah,
she drew a lot from that as well.
right.
It was a win-win.
And I would just go over and like do like Christmas cards with her. Or
Yeah.
I would address her bills. I would bake with her. I mean, I would just do anything she wanted to do. I didn't care. I was just there, but yeah.
So before I get to Tyleki, I don't know how to say that name. I know you have a question. I think this kind of stems off of, I know we're saying, well, this person doesn't feel like they had that affection with their mother or whatever, and so they have a hard time giving it. But what about those who during this time that struggle with Mother's Day because they're not a mother? They're not a mother yet for whatever reason. How is it that we can support them during that time? Now, Hannah, you're only 20, so of course we don't want you to be a mother yet, but as you're looking forward to becoming a mother, like,
hold on though, I kind of want to be a mother soon. Hold on.
you can kind of share your feelings on that too. Like, what is it that during these Mother's Days and stuff that we can help support those who don't have kids? Do you have any thoughts, Hannah, or anyone else?
Oh, I was saying, sorry, yeah, I thought you were, okay, yeah. Well, so I know I'm not a mother yet, Mom, I'm not married, don't worry, but all my friends are getting married right now. Like, I mean that, like, all my friends are getting married right now. And so I know just in a couple years or two, there's going to be, I already have friends that are pregnant, that are already moms. And so it won't be too much longer before my friends are going to be married and pregnant, and I might still not be married. And so it's definitely, and I don't know if I struggle with fertility or not. So it's definitely interesting as I get older, how the motherhood or the Mother Day dynamic kind of changes from, you're a little kid, you look up to your mom and it's like, oh, look, my mom's so great, I need to get her flowers, to more, I'm going to be a mom soon. Like, look at all my peers around me, they're becoming moms, I need to step up my game. And so this Mother's Day in particular, not even just because I wasn't there with you, Mom, to like kind of follow you on and like dote on you, I've really felt like a lot of not pressure, but almost like excited, responsibility, like anticipation. Like, it feels like I'm getting ready to go on my mission again, like getting on the airplane, like, oh gosh, like this is about to get real, like. And so I really just found myself reflecting a ton today on just all the things that you do so well, that you make look so good and make look so simple, how I want to do my best to be like that. And so I feel like with all my friends and stuff too, we're really just starting to kind of turn our looks at our moms, like, oh, look at our mom, like, she's so cute, she's so great, she always bakes me cookies when I get home from school, to, well, shoot, how do I learn how to bake those cookies so I can be the mom that does that? And so I was making lists in my head all day long today, and I was like, okay, in the next 10 years when I'm a mom, like, I need to make sure I do this right, I do this right, I do this right. And so it's brought on a newfound respect and love for you that doesn't just stem off of how powerful and super my mom is, but more like, oh gosh, like, how do I become that woman, like, for my children? And so it's been interesting. And I definitely think that anyone who, is wanting to have children and can't have children, or even just isn't married yet and doesn't have children, I feel like they feel that every Mother's Day, that kind of hammer gets kind of pushed on them a little bit. And they're like, oh gosh, like, how do I learn how to get this right? Because one day it's going to be me that someone's buying flowers for a Mother's Day and saying happy Mother's Day, Mom. So
Yeah.
All right, thank you.
So
I don't know if that answered your question or not.
My so just kind of my personal opinion on this a little bit, because I know that there are a lot of people out there that have just never really had a good home, and they are hurting and they are struggling to one degree or another. And I've thought about foster kids or people who go through the foster system and they've struggled, they've just never really found their footing, and then they become adults, and I think in some ways in life they are handicapped to a level of never having that stable home from which they work from. So hang on just a second here.
I got it.
So for people like that, I always think that's it's a tragic situation, but at the same time, I truly believe that our loving Heavenly Father in life sometimes takes some of those who are his strongest souls and puts them in those situations to break the chain. You know, it's easy to become a product of what we grew up and were faced with, right? So if I grew up and I didn't have a solid family, I'm going to grow up and I'm just going to be kind of the same. It seems to me like it takes no effort, but sometimes Heavenly Father can put us into situations where we are solid souls that he knows, like, hey, I need somebody here who will be stronger than the average person, and somebody here who can take something that they were dealt a bad hand or whatever and not let that define them and not let that become who they are, and turn around and show love when they weren't shown that themselves. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Somebody who can take that pain and not continue it in their life, not continue that pattern, but break the chain of that pattern of abuse or neglect or whatever it is. That's a very, very difficult thing to do, but I think it takes a very, very strong person to do that. And, you know, my heart goes out to people like that. And any chance I would have to be able to help somebody like that. I mean, I have thought a lot about being a foster parent. I don't know that I'm in a situation right now where that would work out, but I think there are lots of people who need that. So my feeling is for those who have opportunities to help others in that capacity, to certainly help where we can, because I think the biggest thing that causes the most problems in this life is that lack of love from us to other people. I think if we just have that, it just makes all the difference. So anyways, kind of
Totally.
off my soapbox on that.
No, I think it's a great point. Absolutely. Okay.
And I have a friend who actually is, and she can't have children, and she's doing the foster care and adopting through the foster care system. So it's really worked out for her and her family.
Yep. And I'm a big fan of adoption. Did you have something, Pam, you want to say?
I have a little in between. So like Everett was saying, he doesn't think he's in the position to be able to foster right now. But don't forget about the Big Brother, Big Sister program. That's not as pressing and high intensity, but it still gives that unfortunate child a role model of somebody who could be valuable in their lives.
That's true.
That's a good
Very
point.
true. Yeah, absolutely.
And my mom also was a guardian ad litem for a while as well. So that was also working within the children in the court system. So, you know, she did that when I basically didn't love her anymore. Just
All right. We actually have one person still raising his hands or her hand. I don't know. It's Tyler Key. I don't even know if I'm saying that name right. Did you want
Hi, Lakey.
Okay. Did
Hi,
you?
how are you?
I'm sorry.
Good. We can't hear you very well, Ty.
Can you hear me now?
Speak into your microphone just a little bit more if you could.
Okay, now can you hear me?
We're getting better.
Okay.
Okay.
I work with kids doing crosswalking every day,
Okay.
and I see they have changed because they haven't been in school. I think we need to be good role models for everybody.
It's very true. Well, the kids, I think that young kids, which is one reason why I continue to teach my kids to be nice to those around them. Because again, you never know what they got going on. Like, I think some of those kids don't have the best life at home because maybe their parents, again, like that's been brought up, maybe they didn't have the best life at home and they just don't know how to go about doing it. They're probably doing the best they can, but it might not be to the level that those kids need, which is, you know, like Pam said, like the Big Brother or the Big Brother program, that you can help kids who do find themselves in a home that might be challenging and they aren't receiving the attention or the love that they deserve. You know, they have those outlets that they can go and find it if the parents aren't, you know, emotionally able at the moment. It's sad, but it does happen for sure.
Thank you, Ty.
Thank you, Tylaki. I'm sorry, I'm totally killing your name again, Tylaki. So just one thing before we end. I know we've got about 10 minutes, but since Mother's Day is like my favorite holiday ever because I struggled forever to become a mom. And so it's really, really precious to me. The title of mother is far beyond my favorite thing of my whole life. I just love it. So, but I went through many years of being the one who hated Mother's Day, who hated the thought of it, who wouldn't go to church on Mother's Day, who questioned God every Mother's Day. Like, you know, people are out there aborting kids and why can't I be a mom? You know, it's so hard, especially with when you are taught that the Lord is loving and wants to bless all of his children. It's kind of hard to accept maybe that your lot in life might not be to be a mother. So how is it that we can support people that have found themselves in my shoes like that? Now I have a long list, but I'm curious if either you, Pam, or Hannah or Everett have any suggestions on that, what you might think is a good way to support somebody who may find themselves in that situation. Any suggestions or thoughts? I've got a list,
So
but I want to see if
who are
anyone
you
else has
asking that question to?
anybody, any of y'all.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. In my personal opinion, I don't know if I'm the most qualified to speak on this here, but my personal opinion is that in this life, there are going to be what feel like grave injustices. Those women who maybe never marry, maybe struggle with fertility for one reason or another, never have children. One of the best couples I know, most spiritual, he was a former bishop in our high council and everything else, recently passed away. He and his wife never had kids and they just couldn't. And talking with him about it one day, he was telling me they just always sort of felt like in his life, he was put in a lot of situations where he was like bishop over a young single adult ward, for example, or dealing with like the youth. And he's like, I kind of always felt like those were my kids. Of course, I wanted my own kids. He and his wife very badly wanted their own kids. But his comment that he left with me was essentially, in this life, not all things are meant to be fair. And it seems like we are being robbed, and how could we be left out? And how could Heavenly Father just do this to me? It's not fair when I see these women with a minivan packed full of kids and they're practically hanging out the windows because there's nowhere else to stick them, you know? But all of those wrongs will one day be made right. I don't know how, I don't know when. I just know that there is a plan for all of us. And I truly believe that those who struggle the most with it find it the most sweet when that time comes. So Celeste, for example, in your situation, you were able to, in this life, I know you've told me before, when you first held Hannah, it was like this amazing miracle in your life, right?
Absolutely.
And to you, that was in large part because you had struggled so long and you'd had that bitterness. Where some women who just are like, 20, 21, I got married and had kids, and it was just kind of like, they might not feel the same level of preciousness. So I truly believe that those who maybe even throughout this whole life never have kids, there will come a time where that will be made up to them from a loving Father in heaven, and it will be that much more sweet to them.
Yeah. And in that moment, whenever that occurs for them, they'll be so grateful. And it's not that a mother who does it normally through, that can just build their family how they want to, doesn't at all, it's not saying that they don't love their children by any means, but it's kind of like if you can envision, you live in some random remote area of the world and the temple is so far away from you and you want to go and be sealed in the temple and stuff, but it takes such a sacrifice to get the money needed to go clear over to the temple. But when you get there, it's just so special because you made it. You were able to overcome all the hardships to get to the temple. Whereas maybe someone who lives in Utah and they can turn around, do a 360 and see 5 temples. It's not that they don't value the temple, but it's just they just have it so accessible that it just has a different feel to it if you have to work so hard to reach it. And that is what it feels like. That is the moment when I became a mom and I held Hannah. That was just pure magic. I mean, it was just a miracle to me. Yeah. So, but the thing, I guess I know we're about to end, but I just want to recommend on Mother's Day, if you know someone who doesn't have kids, or who maybe has had kids and lost them, or just whatever. I mean, there's a slew of different reasons why we aren't mothers, to just love them and embrace them and try not to shy away from them. Because I know sometimes we don't know what to say. So we don't say anything, and we kind of like, oh, I don't know what to say to her on Mother's Day. I know she struggles with that. But I think it's okay to just go up and be like, I don't have the right words. I'm not sure what to say, but I'm thinking of you, and I'm sorry this day is tough, or whatever. Like, I think it's important to just know that, to let those individuals know that they're seen. I think especially within the church, you feel so lost because there's so many people with so many kids, and you're just sitting there empty-handed, and it's a really lonely place to be. So just reach out and love them, and don't be fearful of offending them. I think they just need to be seen. So anyway, that would be my take on all of that. So
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I will just say, as a father to my two girls, I often kind of think of, it's given me a great perspective of how I view Heavenly Father, because as much as I love my girls and as much as I want the best for them, He, being our Father in heaven, wants the same and more for us. And He loves us to that level and beyond. And so when I think of all of these pains, I know that He's there with us in those moments, and He feels that as well. And I know that He wants the very best for all of us, and He will at some point make all of that right. I think the hard part is Him asking us to just hold on in those moments where it's tough, in those moments where we feel like today, maybe for some people, that this is really hard, to just hold on and know that there will be a better day. So,
amen.
yeah.
I'm gonna amen that one.
Anyways, so we are kind of running to the end of our podcast here. I will just kind of ask briefly if anybody else has any other questions. Please raise your hand. We'll take any last questions at the last minute, but at the same time, I want to circle back around to Pam and to Teri. And we got one question there, but right after this, what is the best prank that you guys ever did? We talked about that at the beginning. I wasn't going to let that one go, but I want to know.
All right, Mom, you're up.
Okay, Teri.
That's my best one.
Well, the one I remember the most was when you rubber banded the faucet down, so the sprayer on the hose in the kitchen sink.
Yeah.
And so when I went in to cook dinner and I turned on the water, I got sprayed just full bore, and I let out a scream.
That was more like a yelp.
It was shocking. But Teri's in the backyard and her dad was in the living room, and I couldn't really see what he was doing because the newspaper was jiggling so much. He was laughing.
He was laughing.
Yeah. But that's what I remember from Teri to me.
Awesome.
She didn't have a fighting chance with me in the house.
I'm just glad it wasn't like, the old ones where you saran wrap the toilet or something gross like that. So
Oh, no.
Let's not do that. That's disgusting.
We would prank each other, but we would have boundaries with it. We wouldn't overstep those boundaries. We were still, we let each other know that our presence was there, but we just didn't push the envelope,
Like a popcorn there.
Like putting a snake in your bed or something.
Yeah.
Oh,
Ew.
yeah.
No, that didn't happen.
No, it didn't.
I thought maybe you guys would popcorn each other's door or something. You guys have done that before, right?
No.
No.
So your door frame kind of has like a little gap in between where the door sits and then like the kind of the outer wall, and you put a piece of plastic down around that, just kind of up partway through it, and then you fill in that gap with popcorn, and then you knock on the door. So when they open the door, all the popcorn just.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That's so bad.
Yeah.
No, my mom was really ridiculous with a lot of her pranks. Like, we didn't have Pinterest back then, so she didn't have anything to go off of. So she would and she was so funny when she would do it, because she would put a whoopee cushion underneath the couch, and then she'd be like trying not to laugh. Come sit next to me. Come sit next to me. And I'd be like, really? There's a whoopee cushion in there.
Totally giving it away.
And I would sit there and the whoopee cushion would barely go off, and she would laugh hysterically.
I like to. Hello.
Okay, hang on. Hold on. We're going to mute you just for a second, buddy. Okay, we've got a couple others we have to get to. Michael, do you still have a question? And then Hannah, I know you wanted to comment. So I'm not sure if everyone can put two and two together, and maybe I actually mentioned it, but Hannah is adopted, so she wanted to talk about that as well.
Okay.
So I don't know who wants to go first. Is Michael?
Let's go with Michael, because I think he's on, and then we'll
Okay, go ahead, Michael.
go back to Hannah.
Hey, you guys brought up a question or a comment about being sensitive to women at church. If a ward plans an activity for the mothers, like an ice cream social or passing out flowers, is that insensitive to the sisters who don't have children yet? Or what's your thoughts on that?
So having experienced that, if the mother shows up, or if the woman shows up who wants to become a mother, in those moments, the only thing that for me personally, getting, having the flowers or the ice cream, whatever, like, I mean, that's just kind of part for the course. It's going to happen. But just in those moments, the one thing that's difficult to hear is you're a mother too. Like, they're handing you like a flower or whatever. And they're like, oh, you're a mother too. It'll happen, whatever. And that was always hard, because it's like, no, I'm not a mother. Or they'd say, well, do you have nieces and nephews? Because I'm sure you're like a mother to them. And they kind of try to smooth things over, and it just kind of hurts a little bit more. I think just generally, if they're there, I'm just asking them if they've wanted. Would you like a flower? Would you like some ice cream? Would you like to stay for the social? And then let them decide. That would be how I would handle it. And then definitely don't give the list of, oh, honey, if you would just stop stressing out, or, you know what, just keep praying because your faith will make it happen. Hey, you know what, my friend went through that, and once they went to the chiropractor, they got pregnant. Like, there's always like all these lists of what we would need to do to get pregnant, like it's our fault. And that really hurts to hear. I need to have more faith, or I need to be praying more. I need to go to the doctor. Because I can promise you that woman's probably been to so many doctors. She probably hates doctors because she's been to so many. So that would be my recommendation, is just keep it general. Say, hey, would you like a flower? Would you like to come join us? It might be, I know this is probably a tough day. I'm glad you're here though. And again, if you don't know what to say, it's okay to say that. I'm not really sure what to say, but we're glad you're here. It's a tough day for you, I'm sure. So just stuff like that. That's what I would say. So
Awesome. Thank you.
It. Yeah, no problem. Thank you, Michael.
Thank you.
All right, Hannah, you are up, girly girl.
Okay, yes. So in case you guys can't tell, my mom and I did not come from the same family tree where I'm adopted.
You might have different
Anyways,
genetics.
I'm very dark right now too, Mom, because I've been tanning, so I really don't look like you right now.
I really am dark
But
too. I hide it with makeup. Just joking. Go ahead.
But anyways, someone brought up a point like 10 minutes ago about how it's just hard when you can't have your own children and stuff like that. And that's been something, because watching my mother, I guess I didn't watch her, but like hearing my mother struggle with her having children issues, and obviously my brother and I were adopted. I really had to kind of kind of come to grips with that myself, because you never know, like there could be something wrong with me or my husband, or just something could happen at any point. And I think that it's a mindset that we've had in the church and even just in society, that you have to have your own children to be a mom. You have to produce the children or it doesn't count. Like you kind of have to like kind of side this little family of people that look like you with blue eyes like you, or it's just not motherhood, I guess. And that's kind of how most of my friends see it. They're kind of like, I can't wait to have my own kids. And I'm like, yes, but what about adoption too? Because there are so many children out there that just need a home and need to be loved. And so I'm so grateful every single day that my mom chose to adopt me, because she could have just kept trying. And she could have just kept going through it and going through it. Obviously it worked because my sisters were born. And so she could have just completely bypassed the whole accept somebody else into the family kind of option, let my birth mom, Julie, carry me. She could have, you know, looked the other way when that happened. And I'm so glad she didn't. And so my eyes have kind of been open to just the vast majority of different ways you really can have a family and you really can grow a family. And so for myself personally, I almost every single day tell myself how excited I am to adopt a kid. I know I'm going to probably be able to have my own, but I still want to adopt one, even if, like, it doesn't matter if I can have them or not, I want to adopt children. And so I just keep trying to kind of tell people that I'm around kind of, hey, yes, it's gonna be so great when you can have your own children, but let's adopt. Like, you don't need to get into a depression for 10 years. And if you can't have children, just adopt them. Like, God has so many children here on earth already ready. And I was in a stomach when my mom adopted me. Like, she was able to follow Julie through her whole pregnancy. And so I don't say I cringe, but I almost kind of like, my heart breaks a little. People don't even think about adoption. They just think about having their own children. And yes, it's an amazing experience to carry their own kids. But I mean, look at my mom. Obviously, you guys know we're very close. And I'm obviously in this amazing life and this amazing family with my father and my siblings. And I would never have been given that chance if she wouldn't have taken a chance on me and adopted me. And so that's my little 2 cents about adoption. Or if there's anyone out there who's struggling to have children or just can't have them for whatever reason, or has a daughter that can't have children, just remind them about adoption. It is a thing. And everyone always thinks, well, it's so expensive. It's not. It's just as expensive as going through the in vitro processes. I've done studies about it, just so everyone's clear. So just don't forget about adoption, guys. It works. It's there. And I bet you God would be just as happy for you adopting that little cute baby than he would be for you bringing one into the world. So there you go. There's my 2 cents.
Yo, hashtag adoption is awesome. Yes. And the thing is just to close this out, like, for those of you that question, like, could I love a baby that wasn't biologically mine? I can promise you that the Lord blesses you with those feelings instantaneously. Like, I would hope, I don't think Hannah's ever felt differently loved than my 2 biological children.
She does make a lot of comments about me being tan, but you know.
Well, she does have nice skin and I don't have that. But the truth is that the bond is there. The Lord gives you the bond, and it's not like you're babysitting or anything like that. Like, it's just, adoption is a wonderful option. If you're out there struggling, pray about it and see if that's the way the Lord would have you go. So thank you, Hannah. It was awesome.
Yeah. Thank you. That is very awesome. And, like I said, I know a little bit about kind of the story because I've heard it before, but it's still great to hear it from you. And I know just how much your mom absolutely adores you. So no difference whatsoever in the love.
Nope.
Okay. Did I see one last question? I thought I saw a hand pop up, or maybe
last one I saw was Michael. So
okay. Well, I just want to close out tonight and say thank you very much for you guys being on here. Pam, thank you for hanging in there with us.
You did a great job, Pam.
I think that we might have a little bit different faith, Pam, but I think most people feel intuitively that families are not just something that is for this brief moment we call life, that it is something that is meant to be forever. And how that looks and how that plays out in the eternities, I truly believe there is going to be no difference. Pam, if you were on the other side and Teri was on the other side with you, you would love her no less. She would be no less your daughter than she is today. So families are definitely meant to be forever. How that looks in this life may be a little different for everyone and may be a struggle for some people, but in the end, I truly believe that Heavenly Father has a plan for all of us. And it is going to be wonderful as long as we believe in him. So thank you, everybody, for being on our very special Mother's Day podcast with a couple of our guests, Pam and Hannah, which have been fantastic. Thank you both for being here. Hannah, thank you for your wonderful, insight about adoption. Pam, thank you for your wonderful insights about pranking Teri. We will definitely have to take some of that and, utilize it as well.
Love it.
So this is the part of the show where what we do is we kind of go off of Facebook Live and then we stop the recording and we just kind of open it up for anybody to kind of come on and we have kind of an open discussion. You guys are under